Welcome to Knicks Home Court with your host. My name is Greg Armstrong. This is episode number 94. Point guard heaven. So the Knicks made the trade for Mudiay. Mudiay has been playing. Sorry I'm a little late with my podcast on Mudiay. And they've been playing Mudiay and Ntilikina together. And, this is something I want to say. Now, I should have checked the stats from last night. I literally was about to do that and I forgot to do it. But I have the stats from the previous game when against, who was it that just blew them out? Because they just getting blown out left and right. Got blown out last night by the Sixers. But the previous game, the Knicks shot about 35 threes. Now, unfortunately, only made 9 of them. But that was nice to see. And I'm wondering if the Knicks were playing the system they were running because they didn't have the personnel to run the system that Hornacek ran in Phoenix. And I asked that because now they have a guard who was a penetrating guard, and he's a ball handler. And all of a sudden, the Knicks are shooting a bunch of threes, and they look like a different, a faster team. I mean, if not for anything, they got rid of Doug and brought in Mudiay. That increases your team speed. Believe it or not, it does, definitely. Yeah, because I got to the point with Doug, he's garbage. He's garbage. He's never going to be good. This is his ceiling, and he's just garbage. He's proved it. He has no handle. He can't create his own shot, and his three-point shot is suspect at times. So he's garbage. He'll hang around because teams will always think that, maybe he can shoot the three. Maybe he'll turn around. But he'll never be like a league average player. He's below average, and that's it. That's him. And getting Mudiay, you know what? It's so funny. Speaking of Mudiay, I actually wanted Mudiay. I'm not in the trade deadline. I'm saying, like, in the draft, I was like, we should draft Mudiay. We should draft Mudiay. Mudiay was definitely in the running for the top 5 pick. And, as time went on, people were questioning it, like, but he can't shoot and this and that. The thing that bothers me about Mudiay, now I'm going to get into a little bit of criticism of Mudiay and Ntilikina today based off of last night's game and just certain things I've been seeing. And Mudiay, I know he's not a great shooter. We know that. We know he's not a good shooter. But he's a good penetrator. But for some reason, he can't finish at the rim. He gets up there and just instead of just trying to make the shot, he does all this, I don't know what the fuck. Just make the layup, man. Like, his finishing ability sucks. So what's the sense of penetrating if you can't score? But anyway, that's an issue with me. I like the trade because you're not really losing anything. I like the trade because you're taking a chance on Mudiay. The Knicks had their eye on Mudiay for a while. And you never know, a change of scenery. Listen, when you don't have assets, you got to keep taking shots at these young players, and hopefully one of them turns into something really good that you can keep on your team. They're all young. Trey Burke, Ntilikina, and Emmanuel Mudiay. Now, I already expressed I'm not a fan of Trey Burke. He'll score here and there. He's too light in the ass for me, folks. I'm not a fan. He's a nice change of pace, spark plug off the bench. But I'm not a fan of Trey Burke. I've never been a fan of him. Again, I don't like small point guards for defensive purposes. See, now the Knicks have something right here. Only thing is Mudiay is a terrible defender. But the size of the Knicks backcourt with Mudiay and Ntilikina, 6'5" and 6'5", and then you got Hardaway playing the 3 at 6'5", 6'6". That is switch heaven. Basically, from positions 1 to 3, they can all just switch. Even though, of course, they're not going to get. The key to making the defense really elite is getting a 4 that can switch with a point guard and you don't lose anything. See, that's what makes Golden State so dope on defense, because Draymond can guard 1s, 2s, 3s, 4, and 5s. He makes their whole defense go. Then that's why he can play the 5, and he can shoot the 3, and he's a playmaker. Then you got Durant, who can also play multiple positions. That's the key. So we have 3 players that can play either guard or forward. Either guard and small forward position. And we got Porzingis, which, again, I'm frustrated with the injury because he needs to bulk up a little bit more before we can put him in at center. So he's going to still have to play the power forward. And that, I mean, you see he was leading the league in block shots this year. When he's a full-time rim protector, it's going to be ridiculous. So anyway, one complaint I have about Mudiay, and it's early, but he seems to have a very, very low basketball IQ. He has, I mean, I'm watching a game yesterday, he just kept doing stupid shit. Like, you know, look, one of the best point guard, the best point guard I've ever seen in my life, like literally watched and understanding the game now, is Chris Paul. Yes, I've seen Magic Johnson, but I was younger. I would have to watch him over again now, knowing what I know. I think Magic Johnson is one of the top 2 players in the history of the game. But I'm saying, just based on point guard skill, always having a plan. Always see the point guard, if you're going to be a point guard, because you can be 2 ways. Russell Westbrook doesn't have the highest IQ, but he's always in attack mode. If you're in attack mode, it helps your game because the defense has to react to you. But if you're in probe mode, probing, like most point guards do, like Chris Paul does, probe, let me see who's open, whatever, you got to have a game plan when you go into it. If you look at Chris Paul, he always knows where everybody's at on the court. He'll never dribble. I mean, I'm sure once or twice, but he'll really won't dribble into a trap. You know, I mean, Mudiay was dribbling, and I know I'm talking about Chris Paul, the great Chris Paul. Mudiay was dribbling into traps and also doing stuff like when he tried to get the ball, getting too close to the man and his man stealing the ball. Like a lot of dumb shit. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, to me, and this is your 3rd year in the league and you doing dumb shit. That is unimpressive. I think Mudiay's issues is all between his head. I don't think it's on the court. I think he could do most of the things he wants to do on the court, but what he cannot do, I mean, he's not a thinker out there. He doesn't have a plan. But, of course, I'm going to give him time because he needs to know his new teammates and wherever he is, everything is. But I'm talking about just blatant mistakes, running into guys and just dropping the ball or trying to get a handoff from Kyle O'Quinn but running into him and shit like that. But, you know, maybe timing will fix that. Now let me get on to Ntilikina. Oh, God, Ntilikina frustrated me last night. These lackadaisical soft-ass passes he keeps making that keeps getting stolen. These what you call it? These telegraph passes. And I'm going to tell you like this. If Ntilikina on offense does not get more aggressive trying to score, he is going to be a fucking bum. He's going to be a guy that you cannot play regardless of his defense unless you have an elite offensive player next to him. Yeah, there I said it. Ntilikina is going to be the biggest. He's going to bust the fuck out if he doesn't start being aggressive and making up his mind on what he wants to do. The league knows what you want to do, dude. The league knows you don't want to score. The new league know you're limited in your handle. That's why you had TJ McConnell busting your ass. TJ McConnell. And I know the games don't really matter. It's tank time, and the tank is going well. It's going really well. I don't know if they're going to ever win another game. But you can't have TJ McConnell busting your ass. I like that Kyle O'Quinn set that hard-ass pick. Knock his ass on the fucking floor. Fuck it. Take a tech. But you don't let bum-ass TJ McConnell, he's not a bum. He's an average player. But I'm just saying, you don't let him almost have a triple-double. And the only reason he did well is because he's always energetic. He's always energy, getting the ball running. And I'm going to tell you, he don't have athleticism, but he has high basketball IQ. And I'm not saying this because he's white, folks, okay? But he knows what to do, where to be, where to get. You know, I see it all the time. And it's like, oh, man. But Ntilikina was throwing some lazy-ass fucking passes. He gets in the lane. I need my guards to say, I'm going to just score right now. Because it's like, if you put, I mean, it's like Trey Burke, Ntilikina, and Mudiay, put them together, you might have a starting point guard. You know, Trey Burke is aggressive enough on the scoring tip. Mudiay look for his players a little bit, and he penetrates, he gets to the hole. And Ntilikina has very good defense. So you have a really good point guard if you put them all together. Unfortunately, it can't be done. I can't do it. Because, oh my God, it's just completely frustrating watching Ntilikina sometimes on offense. And honestly, I'm not giving no more leeway room to him. I know he's 19, but I'm not looking for him to score 15 points, 20 points. I'm not looking for that. I'm just looking for subtle improvements in his game, like aggressiveness, straight line aggressiveness. Sometimes you don't even have to do crossovers, but can you one time get the rebound and try to go coast to coast? He's done it before. Do it more. Push the pace. Because I think in an open court, Ntilikina is better. Push the fucking pace. Fuck with the. Let me tell you something, man. And that's another thing players don't realize. If you listen to the coach too much, you will be out of the league. And I know that sounds crazy, but coaches will have you limit your game. They will have you do like little parts of your game and, just pass the ball here, run here. Yo, let me tell you something. If you look at all the best players in the league, you know what they do more than anything? They improvise. They don't sit up there and be like, okay, coach wants me to do this, so I'm just going to do this. Now, I'm not saying be a jerk about it. You know, what I'm saying is you have to, every now and then just be aggressive. Because if you do, and maybe that's the problem. Because, maybe he's playing tentatively because of the coach. He doesn't want to be taken out or something like that. And see, this is what I was telling folks about end of the season basketball. It's going to come to a point where it's complete gym. It's like gym. It's not even like a real team. It's like gym. And when it becomes like that, players are going to do things and you're going to think, oh, look what he's doing. Oh, yeah, next year he's going to be good. Nope. Because this is garbage time. This is literally extended garbage time in games. A whole second half of garbage time coming up. So the Knicks do have actually a chance to get that pick. Get a top 5 pick because, man, anyway. Michael Beasley's looking good. I want to bring him back if we could bring him back on the cheap. But again, I mean, man, I'm really, really frustrated with Ntilikina, for real. I mean, and the thing that bugs me out is that if you look at all the guards that came in the draft, they all have that ability to penetrate, to be aggressive, to make up their mind and make a move. Now, Frank is far better defender than them, but come on, dude. So him playing off ball, I didn't like it at first, but I kind of like it. Because Frank still learning how to be a point guard, but he is a playmaker. That's one thing he is. He can play make. He can create shots for people. He can create his own shots if he ever gets aggressive. But if he thinks he's going to play here and, I'm just not going to make mistakes, nah, man, that's not going to cut it. Fuck out of here with that shit. Because I'm going to tell you like this. Maybe Mudiay, maybe Kristaps can make him a better player. Maybe. Maybe that's maybe that can happen. I'm hoping. But Ntilikina, and also too, again, I got to come back to coaching. I have to come back to coaching. And speaking of coaching, why Damian Dotson not playing at all? Why is Lance Thomas getting so much fucking minutes? Yeah, I know. He's a good defender. That's overstated. He's an okay defender. He's a good defender. I'll give you that. Okay, I'll say he's a good defender. However, I mean, like, it's time, man. You want to sit Jarrett Jack but still let Lance Thomas play? Kylo Quinn, I have no problem with him playing because it's not like you have a bunch of players that can, Kristaps is gone and Billy is gone, so there's no reason to, you're going to play him. If anything, since O'Quinn wants to drive to the hoop and miss all the time, maybe he should work on that in this offseason. Because one thing I always liked about Kyle O'Quinn is he had that Horace Grant jump shot. He had that Horace Grant jump shot, and he used to kill it. Pick and pop, he never missed top of the key. Now he's trying to do more. Now his passing abilities for a big man is very good. He has supreme passing abilities. However, at the same time, I'm like, dude, you can't drive to the hoop. There was one time where he had the ball, Mudiay was coming to get the ball, and he like faked it to him and decided, I'm going to dribble to the hoop. Just like he did when we lost one of the games like that. And it's like, dude, I like your... See, this is what I'm saying. Kylo Quinn has no offensive game when it comes to dribbling and going to the hoop. He doesn't, right? But he still would put forth the effort. He still will be aggressive. And you know what? The coach doesn't sit him down for that shit. Unless he tries to do some stupid fancy shit, which he doesn't do. So all I'm asking Ntilikina to do is be aggressive. Look for your shot. Look for your shot, dude. Who are you looking for? Look for your shot. Kylo Quinn gets... if Kylo Quinn... And I think maybe this is what it is. I was going to say if Kylo Quinn was a decent offensive player, man, he'd score a lot of points because the point guards on the Knicks always hooking Kylo Quinn up. He's a big target. And you know why he's always open? Because first of all, one, he sets really good picks. So that always frees up your man when you set really good picks. So that's one thing Kylo Quinn does very well. However, when you give him the ball and he's running to the hoop, unless it's a dunk, it's just, And maybe there's a reason why he's open in the pick and roll. That's why I think he should work on just, honestly, this whole offseason, because Kylo Quinn is a good off-the-bench guy. He's a better than good stopgap. I like him. He's a good defender, good rebounder, tough. You want to keep a guy like that on your team. He's not hurting the Knicks. But I'm serious. Like, he should just, next year, I mean, in the offseason, just take the basketball and dribble the whole court and just do layups all day long. Just do that. Dribble the whole court, layups. Dribble from half court, layups. Do a little spin, layups. Just keep doing that shit. Just keep working on that. Cantor, I think he needs to work on extending his jump shot range. He has a good jump shot. He has good form. He's a great, and I repeat, probably the best free throw shooter for a big man. He needs to work on that. He has a jump shot, and he doesn't take it. I think that there's ways to increase having Cantor on the floor. Now, I know putting him out to the three-point line at times is going to seem counterproductive because he's a great offensive rebounder. But at times you can spread the court. It just makes it more difficult for the defense. Because if you score the ball, you don't need a rebound, right? So anyway, but I want to see more Damian Dotson. And I know they have a lot of wings. They have Lee, they have Hardaway. Only thing is they have wings but no real small forwards, and that's what they really need. Unfortunately, I don't see great small forwards coming out in this draft, except for Luka Doncic. I'm not really sure about him. I'm a little nervous with him. I know he looks good internationally, but for some reason, I'm a little nervous when it comes to him. So that's the whole thing with Luka Doncic. I don't know. It's just something about him that makes me nervous. He doesn't look that quick, and he's dominating these European players, and that doesn't mean anything. But what I'm saying is, like, I don't really see him get hit by his man. I see him do a little crossover move, and then, like, after he does a crossover, he'll shoot over the guy. He's an elite shooter, ridiculous shooter. I don't know if he's a franchise guy. I don't know if you're looking for him to be a franchise guy. I mean, I like him. But number one pick, you need a franchise guy. But you know what? He actually fits the Knicks offensively, not defensively. Michael Porter, another guy I like a lot. I know he's been injured, but sometimes if he slips all the way to 8, you got to take him. But the guy that I'm really looking at and the guy I really want, based on the Knicks draft position right now, I think is 9 or 10 or something like that. I believe they're going to move up because this team is atrocious right now. And it's not atrocious just because Porzingis got hurt, but it looks like at times, like in yesterday's game, they were playing hard, and it looked like in the fourth quarter, it got to a certain point. Okay, coach, we played hard. We can lose now. I mean, it really looks like the Knicks. I mean, you don't fight and fight. They fought the whole game, tied the score, everything. Then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, you get blown out? Nah, they gave up. They just like, fuck it, man. I'm tired, man. We ain't going nowhere. And that is a problem with a young team, and it's a problem with a team that knows they're not going anywhere. That's why, I mean, I don't know, what do you do? Like, what do? Do you sit Courtney Lee? because you want him to remain on your team. Do you sit him? I don't know. Do you sit the veterans? Do you let... I actually want to reduce Hardaway's minutes, because you know what? I want Hardaway fully healthy and confident for next season. I'm not worried about his jump shot. I don't think it's broken. I think he'll be all right. I think, you gotta understand something. The NBA players are finely tuned machines, man. They're incredible. They're finely tuned machines, and one little thing get out of order, like a violin or a guitar, and the whole thing is out of order. In other words, he had leg injuries or leg problems or leg stress or whatever they called it, and legs is a big part of your jump shot. It is a huge part of your jump shot, unless you're shooting a set shot. So he has to not only get his legs back, he has to get his timing back. He might feel different when he goes up to shoot. It's a lot of shit. So on top of that, it's competition. It's people trying to stop you. So I think that, hopefully during the season we can get Hardaway right. Let him still play over 30 minutes until he gets himself right. And once he starts getting consistent and getting himself right, let's reduce his minutes. Now, again, it's still the first half of the season, folks. Well, put it like this. We still haven't reached the All-Star break. And, well, now we're reaching the All-Star break. But there's a whole nother half. So that's why I don't have a problem with Lee and Hardaway and a lot of these players still getting minutes, because there's still a lot of season left. But Lance Thomas, I just feel, well, you know what? If anything, they should play Lance Thomas exclusively at the 4. But anyway, let me get back to what I was saying. Oh my God, I started ranting on something else. I really liked Wendell Carter. I'm a big fan of Wendell Carter. He plays with Marvin Bagley, who might be a top 2 pick, who I think Wendell Carter is better than him. Secretly, what it is, Bagley has that freakish athleticism. They both kind of freakishly athletic. But, Bagley has a higher ceiling because of that. But skill-wise, Wendell Carter already has him beat. Wendell Carter has a 3-point shot. Wendell Carter is like a small forward who plays the 4, and he can also sometimes, in a pinch, if you put him next to Kristaps, they could flip-flop on the 5 and the 4 position. And it gives them, and he shoots the 3, and he's a good passer, and he has a decent handle. He's going to be, I'm telling y'all, just mark my words, Wendell Carter is going to make noise in the NBA. He's going to make noise. A lot of teams are going to be like, why we pass this up? Because this is what I'm thinking. I think Marvin Bagley, I think he's going to be a really good player. I think he's going to be a good player. But he's how can I say it? He still needs to develop certain parts of his game. And sometimes when a player is athletic like this guy, they don't always develop that part of their game. A lot of players develop parts of their game out of necessity. But Wendell Carter already has a 3-point shot. He already has a turnaround game. He already has a drop step. He already has a high IQ as far as passing the ball and looking for his teammates and being in the right spot. He already has those skills. Let me tell you something. Folks, go look back at Kyle Kuzma in college. I think he was on Utah. I was looking at his shit, and I was like, yo, this dude is highly skilled. He already has the NBA skills. Sometimes if you have NBA athleticism, maybe not elite, but NBA athleticism, but you really have NBA skill, those players are good. You know a player who didn't have NBA skill but had NBA athleticism, who's still trying to figure it out? Stanley Johnson. I was a big fan of his. But sometimes you get caught up because in college, these guys will dominate college competition. And that's what this guy was doing, Stanley Johnson. He wasn't doing it with skill. He was doing it with will. And those kind of players, Bagley's doing it with will too. Those kind of players, when you get to the big leagues, folks, you can try to will all you want. These is grown men. But if you got skills, somebody can create a shot for you. Maybe there's something else. So that I'm a big fan of Wendell Carter right now. I'm a big fan of Wendell Carter. And not only that, I think that Wendell Carter, he has franchise potential. Not saying he's a franchise guy, but he has franchise potential. And he also, let me see. All right, I'm going to tell you like this. His game is similar to Anthony Davis. Not as good. Because Anthony Davis, top 5 in the league. He is fucking nasty. I mean, he is nasty. But that's the type of game that Wendell Carter has. So, you put that next to Porzingis. Come on, man. Even though I really like the small forward. See, this is the thing. Before, I still like Wendell Carter when Porzingis was healthy. But now that he's hurt, I really like Wendell Carter because he can be an anchor for a team. I believe he's that good. Then you have, I like Kevin Knox. See, now he's more of a fit type player. He's more of a, like an ancillary piece, like an Iguodala. What I mean is like he can come in and fill a role. I think he's 6'9". I think he can be very good defensively. He's long. He's athletic. I would not be mad if they draft him. I don't think he's a franchise guy. Mikal Bridges, again, I love him, but with this injury to Kristaps, I want to take a bigger chance at a guy who can possibly be a franchise guy. He has no franchise potential. He has great role player potential. He has great defensive potential. He has 3-and-D potential, but he doesn't have franchise potential, at least right now is what I'm seeing. Miles Bridges, another guy I love. He can play the 4 and the 3 in a pinch. He's tough. He doesn't really have franchise potential, but he can at least be a number 2 or a number 3 on a really good team. He's my second choice behind Wendell Carter at this point. I'm not looking higher above the draft at this point, but let's just say, for argument's sake, as this podcast comes to an end, if the Knicks had the number 1 pick, if the Knicks somehow lucked up and got the number 1 pick, first of all, I don't think it'll be luck. I don't think it'll be, like, honestly, it's weird, but I don't know if I want the number 1 pick from the Knicks this year because I'm very lukewarm on Luka Doncic, even though I see his highlights and he looks like a franchise guy. He looks like that guy. And he also looks like he has enormous bust potential. He just looks like and it's not because he's European. I'm going to tell you this. There's something I noticed with Frank Ntilikina, and it's something I noticed with Luka Doncic that really worries me. If you look at all the old Frank Ntilikina's videos with him in France, he never got past his man. Frank does not beat his man off the dribble because he's not quick enough to do that. He has to dominate over the top. He could possibly do that one day. When I look at Luka Doncic, I see the same thing. He doesn't really get by his man. He has high basketball skills, but he doesn't really get by his man. He shoots over his man a lot. He'll create a little space and hit a jump shot. He's a lethal shooter. And it worries me because he's going to play, most likely, the 3. If he plays the 2, that might be better for him, but he's going to play the 3. Now, think about this. For all y'all Luka Doncic fans, one night he's going to play against LeBron. One night he might play against Durant. The small forward position in the NBA is loaded. Paul George, LeBron James, Kevin Durant. I know he's not a small forward, but hey, he plays the wing position. DeMar DeRozan. You got Jason Tatum. You got fucking Hayward. That's Boston. You got Otto Porter, who's not garbage. He's a very good defender. Just think of all the playoff teams have really good wing small forwards. Kawhi Leonard. Even a guy like on Houston. Oh my God, I can't believe it's escaping me right now. The Knicks drafted him. I don't believe I can't. Oh my God, I can't remember his name. He's an elite defender. Like, the most athletic position in the NBA is small forward, people. That's what scares me about Luka Doncic. That's the most athletic position. That's the hardest position to play in the NBA is point guard, but the most athletic position in the NBA is small forward. And the best defenders a lot of times are at small forward. So what you gonna do? So that worries me. When I think of a guy like Michael Porter, yeah, okay, maybe he doesn't get by his man either, but he's 6'10". He can shoot over some guys. And he's athletic. So that scares me. If I have the number 1 pick, I'm like, Luka Doncic looks so good, but can that translate to the small forwards in the NBA? And is he quick enough to play the 2? Then you have, but I do like his heart. And that should not be understated. Players who come in the league with a lot of gall, a lot of heart, that's sometimes a good thing. You know, a lot of times a good thing. So then you have Marvin Bagley, who I really don't want. I think he's good. I think he's talented. But I don't think he's a fit. I mean, he's a fit next to Kristaps. So I could see you going with that. He could play in the small ball center. You know, I mean, number 1 pick, I don't know. I like him, but I like players who already come into the league with certain skills. See, that's the difference between the NBA now and the NBA when players stayed in college. And I do not advocate. I think all players should be able to leave right out of high school. And I think that maybe if they incentivize the players, they can stay in college for 2 or 3 years. But come on, man, people want to get paid. Because when players came in the NBA back in the days, they came in fully polished. They came in with a complete game, and they didn't have to come into the NBA and learn. That's weird. Come into the NBA and learn. Only thing you should have to learn when you come into the NBA is whatever the system your coach is running. So anyway, so then you got Michael Porter, right? Do you take him at number 1, coming off a big injury? That's scary. That's a scary proposition. Do you trade your number 1 pick and get an additional top 10 if that's possible? I would go that route because, like I said, when I look at the top 10, I don't see a big difference between Bagley, Doncic, Porter, Wendell Carter, Trae Young. All these guys are very good and all in the same position. Now, Trae Young's another guy I like. Now, he doesn't seem as quick, but that jump shot adds foot speed. In other words, like, all he needs is a little bit of space. Would the Knicks draft him? Because, all hands on deck. The Knicks suck. So I don't give a fuck if they drafted Frank Ntilikina. If you think Trae Young is the future, if you think Trae Young mixed with Kristaps on pick and pops, pick and rolls is unstoppable, then you go for Trae Young. Fuck all that other shit. You figure out a way to trade motherfuckers, move people around. Mudiay should not alter what you want to do. But I already know the Knicks are going to draft probably a small forward, a power forward. I really think that's going to happen. But anyway, folks, that's my thoughts on who I think the Knicks should draft at this point. Again, March Madness is coming up. I'm about to delve heavily into college basketball stats, and I usually download the apps and listen to the guys talk so I can really, the guys who watch the games every day, I'm really get into it, and I'm going to break it down. I'm really going to get into it. And I always do that because, well, the last few years I've been doing that because the Knicks have sucked in the second half of the season. I do remember when Kristaps was getting his little workouts and he was shooting his jump shot, and I remember saying to myself, "Oh my, this guy can shoot. Kind of looks smooth." And I liked when he was dunking. He had this confidence and this aggressiveness of himself, and I was like, I like that. I like that. And even when he got drafted, he was like, I want to play here. I'm going to make them change. Kristaps has come in being confident. If Kristaps is healthy, folks, he will be a top 5 player in this league. I think if he can fully recover, he has top 3 potential. He has best player in the league potential, folks. This is why I'm so upset by this injury. Because he's already leading the league he was leading the league in block shots this year, and he's not even playing the center position. He started to hone in on his 3-point shooting. And he's still developing. You don't understand. He's a guy that can get you to the championship. This is why I need him healthy. You put him with Trae Young. And look, if you put him with Trae Young and you just if you draft Trae Young, and I'm just going to say this, if you draft Trae Young and put him at the 1 and you put Ntilikina at the 2, that's not bad. You know why? Because Ntilikina can pick up the slack for defense, and he can shoot the open 3, and you don't need Ntilikina to score when you got Trae Young at the point. So that's something to consider. Oh, shit. So anyway, this has been Knicks Home Court with your host. My name is Greg Armstrong. I will speak to y'all on the other side. Peace.